the WrestleMania Minutes on Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast with Robbie Mack and Kevin Laramie. Here's Kevin Laramie. WrestleMania 2, live from 3 different venues, Rob. Which one did you prefer, New York, Chicago, or LA?
It's tough, Kevin, because this WrestleMania, I will be straight up with you, is my least favorite WrestleMania. It's the one WrestleMania I didn't have in my collection. If I had to pick one, I guess I'd pick LA because that's where the big main event was. But this WrestleMania, Kevin, does not sit well in my memory archives.
All right, so let's just dive into it. WrestleMania 2, live from 3 different venues. Live from the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, New York. The Rosemont Horizon, or Rosemont, Illinois, but always dubbed as Chicago by the WWE. And at the old LA Memorial Sports Arena in LA, California. It was held on April 7th, 1986. And the total combined audience was pretty staggering, but I was actually a little bit disappointed watching. It's only 40,085 people, the combined audience of the 3 different venues are.
Well, you would think that each venue would hold at least, 20,000 people. So you think it would have been closer to 55 or 58,000.
But arenas were small back then, though.
Yeah, that's true.
15, 16,000 was the biggest back then.
Well, I think I'm guaranteeing that they were small for wrestling. I know with hockey and stuff, they could probably obviously fit more seats in it. But remember, with wrestling, you obviously have to create a little bit more space. It's, for me, Kevin, WrestleMania 2, and it's just one of those things where I just can't get excited about it. And I've probably only watched WrestleMania 2 maybe twice, maybe 3 times in my lifetime. And it's one of the ones that I just don't really care about. I didn't like the idea of it being in 3 cities. I always kind of put myself in the position of the people who are in the audience saying, well, wouldn't it suck now you just got to sit there and wait? If you're in LA, you have to sit there and wait for 2 hours before you get to see anything. So I don't know, Kevin. WrestleMania 2, it definitely doesn't sit well in my memory banks.
All right. What was your favorite match of WrestleMania 2?
Well, I wouldn't say my favorite match because
what was a match you disliked less of the holes?
Probably Hogan and Bundy. There was at least a story going into that. It had Bobby Heenan in an interview segment before the match. That's probably why I remember it. Yeah. And for a steel cage match, it wasn't too bad.
Of course.
There was Hogan was taking some impressive bumps. Yeah, but it really wasn't too bad, and I didn't hate that match. But other than that, they had. If you remember, they had like celebrity commentators on each show. It just wasn't fun.
It wasn't. Your match was held in LA, by the way, was the main event, the last match of the whole thing. My favorite match was actually in Long Island. It was Randy the Macho Man Savage, accompanied with Miss Elizabeth versus George the Animal Steel. If you know me personally, you know that I'm probably the spiritual child of George the Animal Steel. Mm-hmm. And I always liked Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. It was for the IC title, and I just loved it. Randy Savage got the title. It was a great match. Always a great spot. George eating a turnbuckle and all that. And for me, it was my favorite match of that show.
I thought about making that my favorite match because when I was watching the card, but at the end of the day, I just never really got into George the Animal Steel. And again, he was way before my time. Like, he was gone by the time I started watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. And so the only time that I would see George the Animal Steel is when I would go back and watch old wrestling tapes. To be honest with you, Kevin, I never really got the allure of George the Animal Steel. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you can explain it to me sometime.
One day I might. And that, it was on closed circuit as well, just like WrestleMania 1. Mm-hmm. Pay-per-view was just starting, but it was more on closed circuit for one of the last time because starting with the next WrestleMania, it's pay-per-view and it gets bigger. So
bigger, badder, better.
Exactly. So take care, guys. We'll talk to you on WrestleMania 3.
You betcha.